That was Give Me a Sign by the wonderful singer-songwriter Corinna Jane. Welcome to ALB UK Television and the Voice of London. How are you today?
Hello, yes, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very excited to be here virtually with you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, I thought, first of all, it was a very powerful song, so well done. I really enjoyed that. And I have to say, being a former photographer as well, you photographed very well at the same time. So, both come together extremely well. So well done. So tell me a little bit about the background of the song. Why did you write it in the first place?
Well, the events that led me to write this song are quite interesting and very personal, actually. Although it's this powerful kind of pop rock anthem, it's a deeply personal song. So at the time of writing it, I was actually grieving the loss of my mother, which happened very suddenly. And while I was grieving, I got a message from an Italian producer called Francesco Arpino, who decided to get in touch with me to see if I was interested in writing with him. And I was in a bit of a position at the time where I wasn't sure if it was a good idea, if it was the right time, but I thought, no, these opportunities don't come every day. So I flew to Rome, and Francesco really understood what I was going through, and we were just bashing out all these different ideas, and this sort of dark, weird, enigmatic thing came out. And really, for me, the lyrics were about me coming to terms with grief, because what they don't tell you is about the numbness that you feel. And of course, you're always out there asking if there is a sign, from the universe that there's something beyond what we see. And so really, it was me trying to come to terms with what was going on, but also just trying to seek some definition, that there's some meaning to all of this. And so it was me unleashing those emotions in a 3-minute pop song.
Yes, I'm sorry to hear about your mother, and I know I read about that as well. I mean, let's take you back. So when did you first start singing and creating your own songs?
So I've always been very, very musical, and I always say that it's really down to my father, who subjected me to a lot of MTV when I was little, and he'd play the piano, and we'd sing around the piano as a family. And I just like to pick things out by ear on the piano before I even had piano lessons. And it was actually watching Sheryl Crow on TV, watching her do All I Want to Do, which made me think, oh, there's this really cool female pop singer who's picking up the guitar and doing great things on video. And I thought, that's what I want to do. And really, I've just always was composing little bits here and there when I was little. And when I got to my teenage years, I just took it a lot more seriously, and I just haven't stopped. So I think really I probably thank MTV maybe, but I can't mention another station, can I, really, on here? I'm not sure, but it's obviously it's a culture institution. So yeah.
It's fine. I mean, what does singing give you personally? When you're singing, what emotions are going through your own mind?
That's a really good question. I think for me, singing is a way you can connect to yourself, but also the greater world around you. It's a way of making sense of lots of complex emotions. It's a way of releasing emotions. It's always a very cathartic experience, no matter what you're singing. And for me, I think singing is so entwined with my identity and how I perceive myself, or how I want to be perceived. My voice is my sort of signature. And I guess for me, it is the greatest form of self-expression, but it's also a way that grounds me into the present moment. It's a way of making me feel what is going on right now, not the past, the future, or anything philosophical, just being right here, I think.
How hard is it at the moment? Because obviously we're talking virtually. How hard is it to actually promote a single right now? Is the future really virtual, or is it still doing live events as well?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this. So in terms of the actual promotion of the single, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, because everything was so online driven anyway, online blogs, also even what we're doing right now, it's possible, would have been possible virtually before as well. There's the company that are pitching out to playlists. all these things would have been the same regardless of the pandemic. However, what the great difference is really is the ability to go out live and put this out to a greater audience face to face. Now, I've been doing a lot of live streams across the first lockdown on this website called Twitch, and it's been great to get new followers, to still perform and connect with a new audience globally. And that is something I can't do easily anyway, regardless of whether there's a pandemic or not. You know, it's a great way to connect straight away to different people. However, it cannot and never will replace that face-to-face feeling you get when you're performing to a live audience. And as a performer, I completely feed off the reaction of the audience. You know, if the audience are into it, if they're enjoying it, then that gives me that adrenaline to perform more. And also, it's, you know, it's like anything. It's like, whether, you know, anything in life, like dating apps or online shopping or anything, it's not the same thing until you're faced with it in real life. And I just think that while everyone's talking about everything migrating to this virtual world, even after the pandemic is over, I actually hope that some of the opposite will also happen, where people will actually begin to value the real life connections a lot more than maybe before all of this happened. And I don't just mean with music, I just mean everything across the board, actually.
So when you first started performing, was it scary? Or are you naturally someone who can just go out on stage and perform?
I'm definitely someone who is not fazed at all by cameras and going on stage. I just love it. It just makes me feel very much at home and gives me a lot of confidence and a sense of self. However, I definitely get very nervous. I think when I was a child, I got less nervous because I wasn't thinking about it so much. You know, when you're a kid, you just want to show off, you just want to perform. You might get a few little butterflies, but when you get a bit older, you question it too much. You start to overthink it. But the thing I always say is, if I stop getting nervous, that's when I'm worried. Because if I've stopped getting nervous, that means I've stopped caring, or I've become far too sure of myself. And I think even some of the biggest stars in the world, like the Adeles and the Taylor Swifts, you know, they still talk about getting very nervous. And I think, you know, if you just stop getting nervous and you've lost your humility and you become a little bit too sure of yourself, and I think it's those little butterflies are actually the thing that gives you the kick to perform. It's like filling up the tank of petrol into yourself, if you like. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you do lots of other things as well, I know, because you're a presenter, you're a red carpet presenter, you've modeled as well. Is it still the main passion, singing, or do you like to do presentations, TV presenting work as well? What do you really enjoy the most?
I think for me, to create is very important. So I have the performer side to me, and I love to. And the singing is, as I said earlier, it's like my identity. However, it's the actual creating the music and all of that that's very important to me, because it's making art, it's leaving a legacy, it's leaving a part of yourself. And actually, when you leave that part of yourself, what I think it's like, it becomes much more than about you. It becomes about the people that are taking in what you create, and it means something else to them. So that's quite an important part of my sort of my being, if you like. However, I love presenting. I love to perform. I love to explore different avenues. I don't think I could just settle on just one thing and not explore different things I enjoy doing, because I love TV. I love, you know, documentaries. I love entertainment, and I just love presenting. I love having fun in front of the camera. I've done my favorite thing I've done is travel presenting, and that obviously was an amazing opportunity to travel around the world, see some fantastic places, and also be a part of the creation of the program as I was editing it and directing it. Just basically just doing the lot, and I love all that as well. I mean, my music video, I worked with a really talented film director called AJ Lamb of Dawn Sky Films, and we collaborate very well. So he shot all of that, and then I edited it and did the color grading, and it's just a different side to what I do, and it just keeps things interesting. You know, it opens your mind in different avenues, and you can just create a whole sort of world around all these things. So it's important for me to dabble in things. I get restless. I like to just try out different things.
I get that, bless your heart. You know, and you come over as very competent. What's the hardest thing you've ever had to do?
In life or in my creative career?
Both.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's so hard. I can't think of the top of my head.
I
Oh,
mean, with travel, I used to be a travel photographer. I used to be a travel journalist myself.
oh
So,
wow.
did you have some experiences when you were doing some of the countries that you visited? Did you find something that was really strange for you?
I think the countries I visited in the time I was doing travel presenting, um, it was it was quite touristy areas. I didn't find so much of so many big cultural differences or anything like that as such. Um, I think the challenge when you're travel presenting is trying to get as much content in the time you have. And the thing is, you don't know what you're going to get. It's impossible to plan. Well, you plan as much as you can, but then what happens while you're there. And that's the beauty of it, is that you've got to capture things very quickly. I wouldn't say that's hard. It's just it makes your adrenaline go up a little bit. In terms of just the hardest thing I've had to do, I suppose I don't. Oh, I honestly, I'd have to have a really good long think about that. It's probably many different things. Many times I've been nervous and unsure, but yeah, I guess I mean I was very academic at school and at university, but I hate exams. I don't think I ever want to sit an exam again. I find that more terrifying than going up on
Tell
stage.
me about it. I used to have the same thing. I had to take qualifications when I was a young journalist. I've been a journalist 54 years now, but they almost had to anaesthetize me to take the exams. It was one of those journeys that I don't think creatives like that much. So what is the future for Corinna Jane? What do you want to be aiming towards at the moment? Do you have plans for next year to do concerts? What's happening next?
Well, it's a tricky one because in my dream world, I have all sorts of plans, and then obviously with what's going on in the world, you keep being sort of slapped in the face with something different, which sort of shakes everything up a little bit. I think ideally, in the long term, the long short term, if you like, I really just want to be able to. I've got more songs to release on this EP that I recorded with Francesco in Rome, so they'll be coming out. What I'm really looking to do is to get to a position where I'm releasing more songs. I'm going out on tour again, perhaps get a support slot with a bigger artist. And I really would like to go back to my travel presenting. That is also a big passion of mine. And I think ultimately the way I see things, and what I have been doing, but the path I want to continue on is just to be sort of known as the traveling singer-songwriter. I guess that's really my goal, my ambition, and hopefully one day when the world has some semblance of normality again, these things will be possible on a bigger scale rather than these four walls of my study. But Harvey the bear keeps me company, and so does my cat, so it's fine.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because as a collector of teddy bears myself, does your teddy bear have a name?
Yes, this is Harvey the bear. Now Harvey, he's dressed up for the occasion. As you can see, he's wearing a little waistcoat and he's wearing some Australian sort of Crocodile Dundee kind of style hat here. And he's very good. So he keeps me company on my live streams and my music videos. He often makes some cameo. The problem is that it's got a little bit to his head now. So unfortunately, he won't talk now until you speak to his people, and he won't even tell me who his people are. So he's a little bit, yeah. I'm sorry if he's not speaking much today.
Is he your lucky mascot?
Yes, he is my lucky mascot. But my cat is also very much my lucky mascot as well. So he makes an appearance as well in my live streams, and these two are probably plotting behind my back something. I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
So finally, how can people get in contact with you now? How can people see the videos and download the videos?
Okay, so if you head to my website, CorinnaJane.com, you will find access to all the different social media outlets. But simply, with everything else, go to youtube.com/CorinnaJane. Instagram, my handle is @CorinnaJane. And Facebook, you can find me by typing Corinna Jane, and you'll find Corinna Jane Music. And really, it's all the music is on all the different platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Tidal, Deezer, all of them. And of course, the video that you saw earlier, that's accessible on YouTube. And I decided to make sure that I've covered all grounds. So hopefully you won't have a problem finding me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today. You're wonderful. And the bear is great as well. The two of you complement each other. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Good luck. And I hope before too long, you can actually come into our studio. Thank goodness, if we're hopefully COVID free before too long, come in and talk a lot more about the work that you do. You've been fabulous.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've had a lot of fun, and yeah, I definitely would love to come to your studio when everything gets a bit back to normal. I was looking forward to it as well, and then obviously everything changed.
No, I get it, but yeah, you understand. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Well, that was the wonderful Corinna Jane, and what a wonderful, beautiful lady. She had issues earlier this year. Unfortunately, her mother died, but she's come through that period, and with her, new song, "Give Me a Sign," it's a tribute to, I think, her mother as well. So thank you so much for today. It's probably a shorter program today because I'm going to go and have some rest. Now I'll be up all night with the US elections, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow, providing someone can wake me up. Okay, have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.